Ready?
Non-24.
We're doing breaths? Nah, I don't even... I feel like I get too relaxed.
Just riff in. Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome back to this episode of Path of Purpose. We are here with the Brotherhood team, and just like you, we are walking on a journey to unlocking ways to live a life of purpose.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. It's Path of Purpose. And today we have a very special guest, Drew Derriman. Thank you for coming on, brother. Cool. Drew is a member at Brotherhood. He came here probably 4 or 5 months ago. And yeah, he's a great man to have on board. His presence is seen, and he's helped many blokes already just by being here in the realms of relationship and personal development, and yeah, he does stuff with healing as well. So he's doing a very good service to the world, and I would love to pass it over to him to maybe introduce himself and what you do, and yeah, that would be great. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Kurt. Yeah, so I help people who are going through romantic challenges, whether they're going through a breakup or a divorce, having challenges in their current relationship, or even just struggling to meet and attract the right partner. The main focus within that is a lot to do with healing unresolved traumas, because I've found through working with men and women from all different walks of life is a lot of their issues do stem from unresolved traumas.
And they play out in the relationship. Yeah.
Spot on, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good to dive into.
How did you move into this space of work, and it must be an interesting place to come from. I heard you say the other day, you're like, there was something where you're like, what do you think all problems stem from? You're like, relationships. And you said, you everything you do in life is for your relationship, so that you can be a better dad, or so you can be a better husband, or you can be a better lover, or anything like that. And so to get into that space and work in this space as a relationship coach is quite a big, I would say, quite name or brand to title yourself with. So what gives you the confidence to be able to step into this space and own it, and what led you into that space as well?
Great question. So growing up, I had a hard time fitting in, understanding life, let alone understanding the opposite sex or relationships or romance. So I got bullied quite badly, and then going into high school, the same thing was happening. And one of my teachers was picking up that, I was having some issues in the classroom and getting in a lot of fights and just struggling. And so she recommended that I would go see the school counsellor. And so at an early age, I had someone in my corner that started to understand me and help me. The school counsellor suggested that I'd go see a psychologist outside of school. And so from 14 years old, I was starting to do therapy. Some people might argue that that's not right for a kid to be in therapy at such a young age, feeling like, something's wrong with him and he needs fixing. Yeah. But I still see that same therapist to this day.
Oh, really?
So I've done 15 plus years of therapy.
Wow.
Within that therapy, I did find there was things that were missing, and I didn't feel like I was getting all of my questions answered. And I did see that I was repeating some of the same patterns and loops and behaviors. So that's when I started looking for answers elsewhere, investing in courses, mentors, books, qualifications, and I've spent tens of thousands of dollars in doing so. And so that's one of the reasons I feel like I can help other people, because I've not only invested in myself, but I've gone through a lot of what other people are going through. Still in my 20s, I was still going through romantic challenges, hardships, heartbreaks. I say I've lived the full spectrum of heartbreak. And so when I post content or when I work with people, I feel a lot of them choose to work with me because they know I can resonate with them. Yeah. They know I can relate to what they're going through. Yeah. And so, through that journey, I just search deeper for the deeper answers, the deeper truth to life. Yeah. I would say that the biggest thing is going through a lot of what these people have gone through and being able to come out the other side of that. Yeah,
it seems like obviously experience, and then also you've done the theory as well. And when you were saying you were getting your therapy from like 14, and then you found there was something missing, what did you find? Was that just sort of like general therapy? Like, what did you find was the missing link in that? Did you find that, or?
Yeah, I found the missing link. There was a few things. With the therapy I was doing, it was cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which is a lot of just talk therapy. And trauma is not only stored in your mind as a memory, but is stored in your body too. And so the missing component was the somatic or the body-based work, and also having just a deeper understanding of triggers, core wounds, coping mechanisms, which we can dive into, because I know for a lot of people those words are very foreign. And then also the other component was just like you're never taught skills on how to properly express your needs, or how to have healthy boundaries, or how to resolve conflict in a relationship. I felt that was just, I would come in with a problem, the therapist would meet the problem, but you weren't given these sort of foundational skills for life. And so I guess that's how I differ in my coaching method, is I like to try to give people the common themes, the skills that I see, the common problems, give them answers to that, but also work with them one-on-one and tailor my approach to what they need specifically. So it's a combination of both. Instead of just always meeting the client where they're at and just sort of going off here, then going off here next week. And that's the thing, like one week you talk about one concept, you might learn some skills, but the next week you'd come in with a different problem. And it never felt like you were reiterating or revising or truly embodying what I learned. I'd talk about something, take a lesson away, but why would I go off and continue to repeat the same cycles and patterns?
So you'd say the clients that come to you now in your work are going through breakups, would you say, or?
The majority of them are either going through a breakup or they're having challenges in their current relationship.
Okay. What would you say most people struggle with in relationships, like a common theme?
I think the biggest thing is conflict resolution. That's what, obviously, conflict is what happens to break the relationship. And what I'm seeing is both parties aren't seeing what the actual conflict is about. They're only seeing the surface level. And when there is conflict, a lot of them are going into patterns and behaviors that they've learned from childhood, which doesn't help to resolve conflict. It doesn't help to foster connection and love. It's a self-defense mechanism. Yeah. And when you're operating from that self-defense mechanism, it's me versus you. Yeah. It's not us trying to connect, it's me trying to survive. Yeah. It's me trying to get my needs met.
So how do they go out of that sort of survival mode of self-preservation, trying to protect themselves and maybe their ego, to actually resolving the conflict? Like how where's the bridge there?
Great question. So that's what I mean when I talk about unresolved traumas, is that's what's showing up a lot of the time in these conflicts. Is it might be something seemingly insignificant that's happening, but something so small can trigger something so deep within someone. So they react over something so small, and they don't know why they're reacting that way. Firstly, they don't have the awareness, and then they don't have the tools to be able to regulate their nervous system, to be able to do the healing work so those triggers aren't so strong. So these are the sort of tools that I teach people. Regulation, the deep healing modalities to get to the root cause, and then also how to communicate and express yourself when you are feeling dysregulated or when you feel like your needs aren't being met.
Would you say the first step would be awareness then, knowing that maybe they're acting out of self, like they're aware that what they're actually doing? Is that the first step?
Yeah, spot on. Awareness is the first step, but that's where most people get stuck. They intellectualize and understand things a lot, but they don't actually have the tools or do the work to change those patterns.
Or even for people that don't know that they're not aware of it, like what are the steps to sort of become aware of how they're acting? Like, it could be very simple, but is there steps to sort of increase your awareness of how you're acting in those situations?
Yeah, so the first thing I do with my clients is I give them this workbook, And one of the things they write down is their triggers. So first thing, write down what triggers you in life, what brings up, and I explain what a trigger is, what brings up, some unpleasant emotions. Write this down. Then I want you to write down what that might bring up internally, the beliefs within yourself, your core wounds, like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, no one cares about me, I'll be rejected, I'll be abandoned. And they scale and rate these different core wounds to see which is their strongest core wound. And then we map out their coping mechanisms. So how do you deal with that pain? Do you fight, flight, freeze, fawn? Do you go into distractions like pornography, drinking, over socializing, overworking? And so they start to realize, I have a part in this, because usually when we feel pain, we blame. Usually when we feel pain, we blame. So that takes the awareness and the accountability away. But a lot of people do that because it's so hard to take accountability for something, because you've got to face your pain, right? It's a lot easier to say, no, you were at fault. You didn't meet my needs. You were the one that did this and that, because now, I don't have to face the pain anymore.
So you're not, like this sort of work, you're not going to get through it without pain, right?
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like, there's a good quote that says, if you do what's easy in life, your life will be hard.
Yeah.
But if you do what's hard, your life will be easy.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you do start facing the pain, it is hard at first, but just like any sort of emotion, if you can sit and be with it, it can move through you.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it comes out in very subtle ways. It ruins your relationships, your friendships, your health. There's something called psychosomatic disease. So when you're not dealing with your traumas, you start getting lower back pain, you start getting gut issues or other physical symptoms and diseases.
You can't ignore it,
Yeah.
That's not, or drink it
try,
away.
drink it away.
People do plenty of things to ignore it,
What percentage of your clients are like coming to you before entering relationship, or have that, do you have these sort of figures, or do you have an idea on, are looking to enter a relationship, so coming to you from a sense of, okay, I'm ready to take on relationship, going through simple things like your triggers and stuff before entering a relationship would be foundational, as you say, to build a strong relationship from. And I guess that's self-awareness, right? Building your own self-awareness at the start before any relationship would be good. But are most people coming to you while they're in the relationship or immediately following?
It's usually pain. No one's coming to me in a good place like, I'm ready to start dating.
Yeah, for sure.
Pain, so it's they've been rejected by someone, broken up, their relationship or marriage is on the brinks of divorce. Yeah, I wish it was more like I'm in a great place, I want to up level myself. For sure.
Imagine if it was precautionary. You're just like, you're taking you're a preventer, you're like, I'm so ahead of the game, I'm going to check this out before I jump into a big thing. Because, it's interesting, nothing like this is taught at school for good reason, because we're too young. And it makes sense that there are people that can help guide and provide some feedback and mirror some of the behaviours, and especially it's a lot easier for probably someone such as yourself or someone who's outside, like unattired emotionally, to be able to be like, no, hey, you need to address these things, because this is what I can see is playing out within your relationship, whereas someone could be absolutely rejecting that as truth.
There was just one thing I did want to say. You mentioned at the start, you asked the question, what gives me the right to be able to speak about these things? And I just wanted to say that I'm on this journey too. I don't consider myself an expert. I still get triggered. I'm still going on my healing journey. Sure. I just feel like I know maybe a little bit more than the people that I am helping. And that's one thing I really admire about you, is when we went on the getaway, the Brotherhood getaway, I just felt like you were one of us. It didn't feel like you had to be the leader or the king. And I think one of the other guys even called this out too. He said he appreciated that, you're just one of us, basically. You're leading it, but I still feel like you're one of us. And there's a beauty about that.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I see that in you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it was that was an awesome trip as well, that camping trip. And that was awesome. Like, there was such awesome bonding that was formed there, and the way that you were able to connect and bring in the boxing and those sort of elements of yourself, and that's something we can dive into too, because I know you've been like you've been involved in the military as well, haven't you?
I haven't been in the military, but I have done a lot of different martial arts throughout my life.
Some of the stuff, like your background that's led you to this journey on the relationship trainer, would be awesome to sort of see how that's come on board, or how that's like played out in your life.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of different career paths, as you guys know.
Yeah.
So that's definitely led to the work that I do too.
Yeah, you've been on a journey. Have you always? How long have you worked for yourself for?
Yeah, so like being in school, I struggled in school to get good grades. Luckily, I was given the opportunity to do work experience in school, and doing work experience in different fields. I was like, I don't want to work for someone. I've been told what to do since primary school, and I always had something with authority, and you have to do this, and this is the way you have to do it. So coming out of school, I was pretty much like, I'm gonna find a way to work for myself, do or die. There's no way I want to
What
work
was
for
the
someone
first?
else. To be honest, the first thing was real estate, and that was like I'm done. And then it was personal training. Started my own personal training business. Then I tried to move that online to help actors and models get in shape for photo shoots and films, because I was acting and modeling.
Yeah.
Business failed. Put thousands of dollars, built different things. I even wrote a book. That failed. Like, I'm talking so many different entrepreneurial pursuits failing, like so much money, time, creating things.
Yeah.
But then when I started helping men with their dating life, that's when things started kicking off.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting hearing that journey. And at the start, you said you were heavily bullied. Yeah. Like, I'd love to like ask why, because you'd look at you now and go, how can this gorgeous man be bullied? Like, that seems so obscene. Yeah,
I think in the reasons in primary school were different to high school, but in primary school, from my recollection, it was just, I felt that I was slower, like I was slower to catch on to social cues and understand what was really going on and be able to make friends and interact with women. Like I was ostracized a lot. I was like physically beaten up a lot. Wow. So that was primary school.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, that's where you'd say your core wound come from a lot, was those childhood sort of bullying and stuff like that?
Yeah, and a lot of people feel like, oh, my childhood was good at home or even at school, but trauma doesn't care about how big or small something it is. All it cares about is if you felt unsafe, unseen, unheard or unwanted. I'd say for me, a lot of mine was in social settings at school, but there were things at home too. I come from a very loving family, but still, just one little thing. A child is very sensitive growing up, and actually, how core wounds are first developed is we have core needs as a child, right? Needs to feel loved and safe and accepted, and so accepted, right? If I'm at school and I'm struggling to be accepted, then that can develop into a core wound, right?
Unworthiness.
And so then, unworthiness. So then you're going to do everything in your power to not get rejected. So that's when you develop what is called a coping mechanism. So how do I cope with this pain of feeling unworthy and with this strong, very strong need to fit in and feel accepted? Perfectionism, overachieving, being the best, having sex with a lot of women. This is how mine manifested, right?
Sure.
That's my coping mechanisms, right? So, and then it's...
What's the healing mechanisms?
I use a few different healing mechanisms. Parts work, somatic breath work, inner child work is part of parts work. Deeper practices is dream work, sexual energy work. There's a lot of things.
And these all integration, sort of integrating that wound into yourself. Is that kind of what it is, or?
I feel like integration is a byproduct of doing these modalities.
Okay.
Yeah, but you are integrating it as opposed to rejecting it and pushing it
using
into
the
the
coping
darkness.
mechanisms to get away from it.
Get away from it.
Yeah.
You're facing it.
In terms of inner child work, like for some people that it gets spoken about quite a bit, but for someone that's new to the space and like maybe this is like waking some things up to some people and being like, oh geez, maybe I want to look into some of my past and my core wounds, which I believe are formed between 1 and 7. What inner child work, speak into that if you can, like what does that involve and how does that help you?
So inner child work is a component of parts work. So we have different parts within us. We're not just one person. We have like a part of us could be our inner child. It could also be our inner critic, the voice in our head that constantly beats ourselves up. So we have different parts. And so the inner child is if you want to get really woohoo, time doesn't exist. And so there's no past and there's no future, there is just now. And so that child still exists in this moment. So everything that child went through still shows up to this day. And so when a trigger occurs, that child is still facing a lot of the pains and it comes out through you. So part of inner child work is what's called reparenting. So going back through visualization, through somatic work and meeting that inner child and reparenting them, which means you are healing your trauma. Because if you're going back in real time to that child and his experience was that he got bullied, but he never had a safe place to talk about it or to express himself, and now he does have that safe space, well, that's healing. That means that trauma doesn't show up as strongly in your life to this day. So a lot of this work is reparenting yourself. And trauma isn't just what happens to you, it's also, did you have a safe place to process the trauma when you went through it?
Yeah, so it's like rewiring to a degree of how you deal with your triggers. Is that the reparenting sort of process?
Can you
is it like, so like you're going back, visualizing, and then when you're a child and maybe this stuff happened, and then is the reparenting process like you're changing the story, or like?
Great question. I'm glad you asked this. You're visualizing your current self meeting your younger self.
Oh, okay.
And I know it sounds a bit weird.
It's like you're being the parent and you're being what you needed.
I tell you, man, I've been on a call with someone and he's in the process and he said these words and the shock ran through me. Not the shock, but this charge of like, this is real. He said, he was like, he's been waiting for me. My inner child's been waiting, bro. It even brings tears to my eyes now.
Man,
He's seen his inner child and he's like, he's been waiting for me.
Wow.
And then he's, tears. And he said after the
session, that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it does, bro. I can feel the energy there.
Yeah. And after the session, he was like, man, I've done years of therapy and nothing came close to what we just went through. Thank you so much.
They call that timeline therapy as well, don't they? When you're going back, and that's when you're saying time doesn't exist. But going back in time to re-outlive those experiences almost. And it's like.
So to answer your question, you're meeting your younger self as your current self.
Yeah.
And being there for him or her, whether through words, physical comfort, or just holding space for them to express what they're going through. And when I mean express, it could be, I got bullied today at school. It could be shaking. It could be the child running away. It could be the child going out and playing. Playing on a client I was guiding through the other day said, my child wants to go play on the swings. I'm like, go play with him. Right? So being able to not only feel the uncomfortable emotions, the unpleasant emotions, but being able to feel and play is part of healing, because it's a pendulum. The more you allow yourself to feel the uncomfortable emotions, the more capacity you have to feel the more pleasant emotions. That's why when people say they just feel numb, is because they're unable to feel either or, because they're shutting themselves off from the unpleasant emotions.
I think that's a good thing to even know as a human. Like if you can feel these high ecstasy sort of moments, then you have the ability to feel those real low moments as well.
Yeah, which sometimes can be a curse.
Yeah, I mean, but like it's good to know, because it's like inevitably that's going to happen in life. There's going to be big ups and there's going to be big downs. But I think, obviously learning how to ride those and navigate those is a skill, because that's life. So I think it's good that you just brought awareness to that as well.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, Tyron taught me that about the pendulum. So it's like about the fluctuation of emotions, and I know this is kind of unrelated, but maybe some people could relate in that, because they say antidepressants are those things that just keep you stable, so you can't feel the depth of love, but you can't feel the pit of sorrow. So you know, and that is just taking out the experience of life a little bit, isn't it? But yeah, what's with your current relationships and stuff like that, is there any relationships on the rise for you, or where are you within the space, or your previous relationships that you've been in? How are you going about navigating and attracting
That's a great
into the
question.
future?
I'm so glad you asked that, because not many people do, and it's a sort of blurred line in the sense of you'd expect someone who works with people romantically to be in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
But in this present moment, I don't want to be in a committed relationship. And I've had a lot of, I've put that in the dark a lot, because I feel this expectation to be in a committed relationship. And I feel even there's been times people have maybe projected that onto me and shown me that insecurity within myself, by saying certain comments. So it's something that I'm working through, but I know deep within myself that in this moment I'm exactly where I need to be.
That's beautiful.
Why do you feel like you don't want to be in a committed relationship now? Like, what's the
so the reason that I left a beautiful relationship, great girl, just she was a really like, I could have seen myself marrying her, was there was two things. There was one, that there was just this feeling of, this is not the right time. You've got to experience more of life. You've got to learn more. And then there was also another thing, which, this is could stir a bit of conflict, but it's the truth. I had desires to be with other women, and I felt I needed to explore that. I'm not saying I needed to go out and do that, but I needed to understand it more, and I wasn't fully understanding it within my relationship. I did so much work to try to make the relationship work, to try to move through the desires, but at the end of the day, I felt I needed to explore that, being single.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
I think
Follow your truth.
That takes strength, follow your truth. That takes real strength
Follow
and
your
courage
truth,
as well, because there is so much the monogamous relationship, which is somewhat, and I think it's kind of cool in the way that Aubrey Marcus has been a big proponent for polyamory and what I've experienced in my life and stuff. And so more people are aware of, like, hey, maybe there isn't just the sole monogamous relationship, which is the be all end all. It's like there are other avenues to explore where they don't need to be judged. And so to hear you say, like, hey, that was just where I was at, and you honouring your truth and actually having the courage to step away, is Georgia and myself have communicated about that as well. It's like, hey, if there's ever any desire there, come and speak to me first and have the conversation, because if there's the guilt or shame that you feel for doing that, and then you go behind their back, man, you're ruining two people's lives, So
I'd love for you to speak into that more. I'm genuinely curious. Are you in a polyamorous relationship?
No, not. But just, I think even just having the conversation there of like if there's ever any feelings or desires that do emerge where, hey, I would like to experience this, I'd like to be assured of myself enough that I can handle that, and I can ensure that, I can provide that safety for my woman to go and do what she needs to do and feel out her desires, see them out or whatever. And then if at the end of the day, if that goes against my value system and I'm like, hey, that's not for me, then I have the strength as well to be able to walk away. And vice versa. But I think that having the conversation there and just like, because there's these parts that we probably play out in our own mind and fear of, like, oh my God, this is me, she's going to get away from me. And instead it's like, no, you're providing the safety of, like, if that were to ever be something, it's like, no, I'm secure in myself enough to know that this is what I want.
And my partner expressed the same thing. She said, "Thank you for telling me."
Yeah.
Most men, and because she would tell me about this females only group on Facebook that she would be in, with women sharing their relationship problems, and she would say, "Thank you. Like I've read so much in this group about how other men act, and it was hard to hear at first. This is her words, but
for sure.
I'm truly thankful for you telling me that you have had desires to be with other women."
It's the secrecy that would destroy the relationship. So just to even have the conversation, and that's what you want. Like they say, what's the top 3 things that you want in a strong relationship? Communication, like honest communication. I don't know. Do you have other ones that would rally off that as well? Like
a good blowjob does the job.
No, sometimes they go good.
That can cancel out honesty.
Sometimes they do win. Yeah. Do you have another one?
That's it.
The other sexual ones.
Simple man.
But I think, the truth, like going back to the truth thing. So what builds connection is truth and honesty. So if there's, by bringing up stuff and being able to like just tell your truth, then that means, what are we in relationships for? A lot of it is like a deep connection, right? So if there's stuff that gets in the way of that connection, then that's no good. And maybe I'll put that question on you. Like, where do you feel people may stop themselves from like connecting with their partner, or what is there any blockages there for people to sort of deepen their intimacy and connection?
Yeah, just straight back to the unresolved traumas. That's what blocks deeper intimacy and connection. You mentioned sharing, being honest is the key to connection, but honesty requires vulnerability.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's use this example of expressing that you have desires to be with other women. If I wasn't aware that like some of my core wounds were around being rejected and not being good enough and being broken, then maybe I might have been fearful to express that because, well, then I'll be rejected. Then I won't be enough, right? So when you become aware of that and you do that sort of healing work, it helps you to be able to be more honest and have better boundaries and be able to express your needs more strongly and in a healthier way. So I would say it does come back to that. Always, that's what blocks. Because again, when you're triggered, you're going into self-protection, which is not a place for connection and deeper intimacy.
Yeah.
Is there a common thread to what people are like situations that people have got themselves into within a relationship? Like, is there anything regarding sex? Is there a thing around what is the adequate amount that people should be having sex, or anything like that for intimacy and connection, or anything like that?
The common thread between relationship problems, or
like what was there something that that people are coming to you and saying, hey, this is, and you're just going, I've worked through this that many times because this is so common. Yeah,
the common thread is unmet emotional needs, and it's usually due to childhood wounds. So your deepest needs in a relationship are usually linked in with your deepest wounds. So again, if someone has a wound of not feeling wanted or unworthy, then the need to feel worthy or wanted is not just going to be at a normal level, it's going to be turned up very high because you need that so much. You've never felt it for the majority of your life. So think about what ends a relationship, or what ends a relationship. It's conflict, right? It usually ends in conflict. And in conflict, someone's needs aren't getting met. That's what's happening if you think about it. Someone's needs aren't getting met, and that's why they either end a relationship or they have conflict. So part of the work is, yes, learning how to communicate better, but also when you understand the healing work, you start to see that, maybe this need that I'm needing so much from my partner, I can learn to start giving to myself. So I'm not so needy in a relationship, and I'm not putting so much pressure on my partner to meet this unrealistic expectation. That's one component of it. But to answer your question, unmet emotional needs. And I'm not saying that in every situation the unmet emotional needs is unjust. It is linked into a wound. Sometimes, the partner isn't meeting the other partner's needs, and the partner does need to step up a little bit.
Predominantly, who do you see out of gender, men or women, being, I mean, it depends on how many people you've worked with, right? But that are being unjust. Is it men?
How would you define unjust?
Where that meeting that emotional, what were you saying there? That
Emotional needs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are they not, is it the men typically that aren't meeting the emotional needs of the woman, or hard to determine?
That is a hard question. I would say that the majority of relationship breakups are instigated from women. Doesn't mean that they're in the right.
Yeah, with you.
But, we're simple men, right? Just
Yeah.
as we're talking about. We don't need much. No, we do. We do need more. But, that's a hard question to answer. I'm not sure if I have the answer to that.
Yeah, nice. Well, that sort of leads into, I guess I was sort of going into that, like the sexuality space of it all, because that is quite a taboo sort of space to enter as well in relationship. Do you see anything coming through for men or women that aren't being met in their sexual needs or anything like that?
Yeah, so with men, that is a big one, especially
Right.
men in long-term marriages.
Yeah, right.
I have seen a common thread of them not getting their sexual needs met,
Yeah.
but in doing so, it can also bring up feelings of not feeling wanted or the core wounds. And I remember working specifically with a man who wasn't getting as much sexual intimacy as he wanted. And when we identified that it was more than just the sex or the pleasure of sex, it was these other feelings of feeling wanted, and we worked on that, she started instigating
Really?
sex more.
Wow, isn't that
Because he
interesting?
wasn't pressuring her and he wasn't coming into the intimacy, the sex from a place of my cup is not full.
Yeah.
It's
I need
attracting.
you. It was like my cup is full. I'm coming from a
attracting,
place of
Come get
abundance.
some.
Right? Come get some, baby.
I was fucking overflowing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's linked
hey?
in.
But
Yeah.
Linked in, man.
Would you have a rough figure? Like, what would you say people in relationships, like, what's a healthy amount of time to have intercourse?
What do you guys think?
I don't know, man. I think it's up to every different partner
Yeah.
and stuff like that as well. I wouldn't know what is healthy, or I guess it's a feeling that you go by as well.
I'd say it'd be very situational.
I mean,
right?
I know as well now is that like there's a lot of stuff now that's coming out with like Taoist like storing and like what do they call that?
Holding on to your chin.
Yeah. But there's
Sexual transmutation.
Yeah,
Napoleon Hill.
that could be.
Yeah,
But the
is that what you mean? Like, not
retention,
going
semen
away.
retention,
Semen
yeah,
retention,
and stuff like that. So that's a good way for a guy to probably be like, right, well, I don't need sex as much, right? But I don't know. There's a lot of that stuff coming in now as well, and even the ability to orgasm without ejaculation, and that being a bodily experience. Have you ever?
I've experienced
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I have, and at the moment I am practicing
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
It is challenging.
Yeah, interesting. Like it's practicing, like
Yeah.
cool. Like the act of practicing, like
Yeah.
that.
So you've set yourself a challenge at the moment as well, which I might ask you to share, and also wondering why you've done this, and you're about a week in.
Yeah.
I'm wondering-
okay.
What benefits have you seen? So just speaking to your own little
Yeah.
personal challenge.
I gotta say, I love the questions you guys are asking. I've been on quite a few podcasts, and this has been one of my favourites.
We're not
So-
afraid to go there, are we?
Yeah,
No worries.
it's good questions.
Thank you.
So it's not too big of a challenge, but 2 weeks, no alcohol, because I found coming up here to the Gold Coast, some of the people I've been hanging around are a bit more partying, and it's been influencing me. It's still my decision. So no alcohol, no coffee, because as we spoke about, I've found that coffee has affected me quite severely. And
How
then
so? If you can just tell
through
me that.
anxiety,
Yeah.
through feeling like I'm not being my authentic self, overthinking. So, because it is obviously a stimulant, and I do have a bit more of a sensitivity to caffeine. And then no sexual pleasure, self-sexual pleasure, or from a woman. No approaching women, because approaching women became my comfort zone. So I felt more comfortable going out and talking to women in public than I did not talking to them. Felt like I was missing out. So learning to bring my energy back in when I notice, oh, there's an attractive woman, bring the energy back in. Or I want to go talk to that woman. Is that woman looking at me? Validation, learning to validate myself. And then practices of transmuting the sexual energy through my body too. So that's what your semen retention is, just retaining your semen, but then actually learning, which is I found it very difficult to move that energy. Is a whole other skill.
What do you mean moving the energy? Are you doing that just during the day, or is that?
There's a practice I do. There's a mentor that I've invested in, and she talks, like, she's got different practices where she'll get you to self-pleasure and do edging. So you come up to like a level 7. So let's say level 10 is you're ejaculating. You come up to a level 7 and you come back down. You learn to feel into your testicles, your penis, your I've forgotten the name of it, the point between your balls and your anus. Your gooch.
Nice.
I think it's called your perineum. Perineum. Yeah, perineum.
You're professional.
But then even trying to circulate the energy, so feeling it in your groin and then breathing it up through your spine into your heart, or down all the way through, or through the front. What I've found has worked really well, it's simple, is I just imagine that energy and I'll breathe into it, and then I'll try to move it just into my heart center, to more into love. So that's what transmutation is. It's taking a source or something and transmuting it, or I'm doing a poor job of explaining it, but let's say your sexual energy wants to go towards sex, and you move it into love or creation or purpose.
Yeah, it's a powerful energy, isn't it?
It's
sexual energy.
The energy of life.
Yeah. So I know that David Dieta talks about breathing it up the spine and all that stuff, and it's I found like I haven't read his book, the Manchak Chia guy that you were talking about. You're reading his book, aren't you?
I was reading the.
I love that you were reading it with Georgia too.
Yeah, reading it aloud, and she loves it. She thinks it's really soothing, like just trying to go to sleep. But yeah, reading the multi-orgasmic reading, because I read right at the start and it said, read this with your partner, and so I'm like, fuck, too many times I've ignored that, like thinking that she wouldn't want to hear this, she doesn't want to be involved in this either, or whatever. And it's like, I'm just here to try and improve our sex life. I'm here to try and improve our relationship. So why? And the thing is, when we're reading this, she's taking it all in while she's slowly drifting off, but I'm enjoying just reading it aloud as well, because for me it's good accountability as well, because it means I'm reading. I never read it, so it's good. But I found it fascinating. So has she so far. So
Great.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn more about some of the practices that you're learning, because some of the things that this mentor is getting me to do is quite strange. Like there's one exercise called fuck to kill consciousness, where you fuck a pillow, like you just go like ham at it, and then you in a different exercise you're letting out your rage. And so it's learning to get into the different parts of yourself that you're suppressing, that is inhibiting intimacy and connection. Wow. So like there's a wide range of very out there techniques, and a lot of it comes from Tantra. Tantra, if you've heard of that. So
this is Tyron's space. Tyron used to go all into this, and he did the sex school back in New Zealand that he went to and stuff. And so I've heard about some of these practices, and as far-fetched as they sound, it's like, some of them are pretty out there, and but they obviously all have purpose, and very interesting. But a lot of it, even some of who does all the meditations? I'm forgetting his name now. Oh goodness!
Here
no, sorry. This is just the most profound guy. Becoming Supernatural.
Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza, yeah. Even in some of his meditations, he'll ask you to start circulating your chi or your energy and going up the spine, as you say, and then bring it round in like this oval that's going up from your perineum all the way up to your brain, and then like flowing it back down the center of your body. And some of those are probably subconscious because he's making them for everyone.
Yeah.
But, but really what he's probably channeling into is some of this Taoist sort of meditations where it's like really like
It's
some
powerful stuff,
yeah.
I reckon.
Buddhist sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's also good to just come back to the simplicities of life, of nature,
Yeah.
ocean, connection.
Yeah.
Not always having to...
Stab a pillow.
Yeah.
Maybe even stepping up sort of back a bit and getting to like step one of people that are maybe like that are not in a relationship. And let's go a guy. How would a guy go about attracting a girl? What are some good tips there for a guy to increase his attraction levels for a woman?
Yeah, great. So I'm going to go the counterintuitive approach because every guy has heard a million tips on how to attract a woman, and a lot of the things that he's focusing on is the external. Like you could go on YouTube now and type in how to be confident, and it will talk about standing tall, having good tonality, maintaining eye contact, getting in shape, dressing well, all these things, but all of these things are external. And your external behavior and the things you do is very much a representation of what is going on internally. So I would much prefer a guy, before doing any of those things, is take a look at the things that we've discussed today, and that's going to set the foundation for building the house. You don't build a house on sand, right? So when you're going out and you're going to the gym, and these things are great, but if they're coming from a place of insecurity and wounding, they'll manifest in different ways in your romantic life, so I know every guy wants to get out there quickly and meet a woman, but maybe it can be a balance. Just don't miss the internal work that we're talking about today, but maybe some other tips around, did you say like meeting women and attracting women?
What about like a scenario, like let's say a man sees a woman, like let's say they're down the street at the beach, he sees like a beautiful woman there on the beach, and inside of him he's like, I'm attracted to this woman, I want to go up to her. Would there be any tips to help guys approach, because that scenario, you obviously said that you find it easier to talk to women than not talk to them. So how, obviously it's got to be authentic to them, but is there any sort of tips that you'd go about to like that initial like approach to a woman?
Yeah, I do have a few tips. So firstly, know that your nervous system, you're going to go into a fight or flight if you think about doing that. And if you think about having to go up and have a full conversation with a woman, if you're struggling to approach women, let's talk about a guy who's been on the dating apps, getting rejected left, right and centre. I highly recommend that men should try to learn how to have a conversation with a woman face to face. It's so easy to hide behind a screen nowadays.
Sure.
So instead of going into the gym, putting 3 plates on either side and trying to bench press 10 reps, you don't do that, right? You just start off with the bar. So much like approaching a woman, maybe just first try to maintain eye contact with her. Like if she's looking at you or she's not looking at you, try to look at her, hold a smile, and see how that feels, right? If it's too easy, then great, we can move on to the next suggestion. But for a lot of guys, even just doing that, even just maintaining eye contact for 3 seconds with a woman can be intense. So why ask a man to go up and have a full-blown conversation? It's just he's going to go into fight or flight, which means words aren't going to come out. He's going to feel so nervous. And then if she rejects him, then it just reiterates the loop, the wound.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
and probably even
small wins.
Yeah.
Small wins. Rejection is a part of it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier when you haven't rejected yourself first.
Yeah.
You've done this internal work, and you ease your way into these situations to learn that it is safe. It's safe to talk to other human beings.
Yeah, and don't get too stressed about the outcome, Like if you
yeah,
go up
they're
there,
so focused
just
on
have
the
a
outcome.
chat,
Have a
see
chat.
what happens. Like I think people get very like outcome dependent as well, where it's like if you go into it with a bit more fun and play and just want to be present, and then see how it goes, then it can be like usually go better if you're just focused in the moment rather than like how am I going to get this girl's number or how am I going to take her home or whatever it is.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Do you, left field, but do you believe in soulmates?
Do I believe in soulmates?
Do you believe that there is your soulmate out there, Drew Dearman?
Are they waiting for you? Your
Are they
soulmate?
waiting for you, your soulmate? I think we have many different souls, mate. If you've heard that one. Yeah, I don't think there's one person for us. I do believe in free will. So if there's one soulmate that we do have that we're meant to be with, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of our life path written for us. Maybe some people would disagree and say, well, there is this one person for you, but you still have the choice whether you just pursue that person or choose decisions that lead you to that person. But I had a mate who went down the whole twin flame.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that
Yeah.
journey? And from my experience, there was a lot of good that came out of that for him, but there was also a lot of darkness. With anything, there's a polarity.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, yeah, I think influenced
What's
my beliefs
a
around twin flames
flame?
and soulmates. From my understanding, a twin flame is like that's your person. It's a you. It's actually you in a way. There's many different meanings, but some of the more unhealthy meanings were like, this is your person. You
Yeah.
are one,
Yeah.
and you're meant to be.
Okay.
And soulmates is like a level below it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the one.
They're like, yeah, the
Yeah.
one. What's your opinion? I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'm open to changing my opinion on this.
Yeah,
so
totally.
please
Well,
share.
yeah, even in the twin flame stuff, I know that when it comes to like horoscopes and stuff like that, there's like your complementary one, and you just all these little things, kind of synchronicities line up. It's like, oh, everything's, oh my god. But but then I know when some people like get into a relationship and then those sort of things don't line up, and then they start going, shit, is this the right one for me? And it should never be that. It's hard to say that you're going to encounter your soulmate when there's 7 billion people on this earth and you're going to find the exact right one. You know what I mean? Like that's a big probability to sort of to occur. But that's also asking whether or not you believe in a monogamous relationship as well. And I think it's about, for me at least, it's like the depth of love that I'm willing to fall into is the depth I'm willing to get hurt. So and that's for me, that's always been the journey, because I've always tried to be a little bit like half in, half outy sort of kind of energy, just in case, so I don't get hurt too much if it was to all fall apart. And the more I've let that go, and the more I have actually just surrendered into to just deeply loving as best I can, makes me never want to like retreat from my current relationship, which has been a great experience for me. But so that just makes me kind of believe in the soulmate connection or something like that. But yeah, I think it's for everyone's own interpretation for them to experience as well. But yeah, that's my one. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think there's probably more than one soulmate out there. I feel like you can connect with many people's souls, and like, not everyone, but like I feel like for instance, I don't know, like one of my girlfriends, I had a really strong soul connection. One of my girlfriends in the past, but it's like our humans didn't line up, like human interaction, but our souls were very much like connected. And then I had another girlfriend after her that was like a bit more of the humans lined up, and it was like the human stuff was pretty good, but the soul connection wasn't quite there. And then like my current girlfriend, it feels like the soul connection is very much there, and then the humans line up perfectly, which is great. So like, you know, that probably shows me there are multiple soul connections you can have out there. And I think love at the end of the day, like a romantic relationship, I feel like there obviously has to be a strong feeling of love and connection, and then there's also that choice as well to be committed and loving and move through certain things when things pop up or someone gets triggered, and you know you've got to deal with these coping mechanisms that happen, and it's like you've got to move through that. But I believe if you got that strong love soul connection, then that's always gonna shine through. So
Sure.
yeah, I feel like there can be I don't know if there's the one, but I feel like there's the one that you choose, and if they choose back, then you can make that like as best as possible.
That's literally it. The soul connection could literally be a choice. It could be you going, yeah, I'm fucking all in.
Yeah.
And that's your soul connection, you know?
Yeah.
I just see that with a lot of the men that I used to work with, when they did have the belief of she is the one, she is the only one, how much that hindered them. And I'm not saying that there isn't the one and only, but if you aren't content with being with yourself and being comfortable being by yourself and in your life, and you meet this woman and you believe that she is the one and only, that can turn into many unhealthy coping mechanisms.
How much pressure does it put on them?
Exactly.
Right.
Pressure on them, but also pressure to, I can't fuck this up.
Yeah,
She's the one and only girl.
Yeah, that's...
You know?
Yeah, and then I think that would play into like some neediness, and I just don't think that's good.
Yeah.
Spot on.
There's also the other side of the coin as well, was like, it was like that acceptance piece of, oh yeah, this is the only one. I can afford to be a little bit of a, you know, just carry on like a bit of a larrikin and like, you know, like think it's all going to be there. I think it's when the guy gives up on the relationship, trying to, well, for him to become better within the relationship, and then vice versa. Like, I think both parties need to be trying to continually nurture themselves individually, but then also the relationship as well.
Yeah.
That is my non-negotiable for a relationship, is if my partner is not willing to take accountability or be willing to work on herself, I'm out. I don't care how attractive. It just the relationship won't work. Like, if there's inevitably going to be conflict, and if that is a strong trait within her, that's like a big no for me. I would try to facilitate and help her to be more open to this type of work, but yeah, it's very difficult to have a healthy relationship where you're growing together if one party is just, I'm not the problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Not taking accountability, not working on themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was a question that came up here, which I thought was quite cool, and that's how can I tell the difference between my needs and my fears?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
How can I tell the difference between my needs and my fears?
That's a great question.
That's a good question. I can imagine that coming up. It's like,
where you're acting out of fear, and you think you need that because it's doing a fear, or whether is it like you need it because this is a need for you to feel love, or
that's hard to communicate that as well, because it's like that's like the fear of abandonment for me. Like, oh fuck, she's gonna leave me, but then is that a fear of abandonment, or is that?
Well, do you need needs,
or do I need
for like security?
Yeah, like how can you make me feel more secure? Like there's that balance there, and that dichotomy there. It's like hard to pinpoint whether that's my own or if it's my partner not meeting my needs. Like, it's so interesting.
Yeah,
which is what we were just talking about. And so to further that, remember I said your deepest needs in your relationship are linked in with your deepest wounds. So the fear of abandonment manifests as needing what you said, security. But you'll also attract partners that struggle to meet those needs. Why? To show you the unhealed parts of yourself. So you not only have this need that's turned up super high, but you also have this partner that struggles to meet that need. The common example of this is the anxious and avoidant trauma loop that people get caught into. Is when the anxious person needs more reassurance, but the avoidant person, what do? They run. They're fearful of intimacy and connection. So
yeah, there's a lot to be aware of.
maybe we can simplify it, because that's a good point. It is a lot to be.
Yeah, you can.
I try to simplify things. When people come to me, it's like these are the 3 steps we focus on. I've got you. This is what we're doing.
When we get into your work and then simplify it.
Yeah.
You know, but
let's go into your work then, like with just like to sort of round this out a little bit. But like you're predominantly working with people. Like I can imagine it's like a commitment that they're making to you to help, their relationship over a journey. Like you'll be going on a journey together.
Yeah.
And how long do you, like, it's results driven, you're wanting to get these guys results, but how long is the adequate amount of time to see results, to see change, and not only just see change, but like embody change, where it's like, okay, yeah, this is who I am now, and like this is how I'm going to show up better in the relationship. Like, what do you take time on that for?
Yeah, change does take time, but I will say that people have first session seen dramatic changes
Yeah.
in themselves and in their life, but then it will test you. Something else will come up, and it's like an onion. You peel back one layer, and there's another layer. And so this work, for me, it's a lifelong commitment. You don't just go to the gym and get in shape and you stop training, right? But I think what I've seen with a lot of people is when they start this work, it's painful and it's difficult, just like starting the gym for the first time. But I think we can all agree that we like training, we like exercising now, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
This work can become enjoyable. The tools and the practices and the techniques, you want to do it. Like I want to sit down and meditate. I want to do this work. I get joy out of it. So
It's practice.
yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
When people come on with you, is it 8 weeks, is it 12 weeks, or are they
It's-
years? Or?
Yeah, it's 3 months
Yeah.
at minimum.
Yeah.
So someone can have just an initial session with me to experience what it's like to work with me. No commitment, nothing.
Yeah.
Just pay for the session and that's it. It's a good way to get a taster for if we're a right fit. For me to see if this person's a right fit for what I offer and for them to experience my work. And then from there, it's a 3-month container with the opportunity to continue on. Many clients do continue on. I've got people in Germany, in the United States, in Australia that work with me continually. So
That's awesome.
Like you say, it's a lifelong thing, isn't it? Like, it's not the point where you're like, oh, well, I think I've clocked relationships. I don't think that's ever been a thing.
I was going to ask that before about the healing journey. Everyone, like, it's a bit of a modern thing. Like, oh yeah, I'm healing. I'm like, does that ever stop? Are you ever fully healed? You think, or is it like?
that's great, man. I love that you said that. Yeah, I don't think you ever. Maybe we could find a different word, but I use these words because it relates to what people are going through and consuming and listening to. But yeah, like maybe it doesn't have to be healing. Maybe it can be becoming.
Yeah.
And that sounds
Evolving.
more incentivizing to me.
Yeah.
Something negative, I'm healing. It's a wound. I'm constantly becoming. But I think healing pertains to trauma.
Yeah.
And when people hear that word, they're more inclined to listen to conversations like this.
Yeah.
So it helps.
Yeah. And it's like
Instead of like become a better man,
yeah.
which you hear all the time,
Yeah.
be more specific. Like what
And
does
I
that
think
mean?
people like, which I don't like, can stop themselves from living their life because they feel like they're healing or they've got some healing to do and then they can do the thing.
That's
Or,
a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Is isolation.
I'll work on this and then I can do this. Where it's like, I don't think it's really like that, right? It's just like if you want to live your life in a certain way, like start doing it now, regardless of the healing you've got to do. I don't know what your belief is.
I think there's seasons. There's seasons of, I need to.
That's a great word, seasons.
Spend more time by myself. There's seasons where I should get out there and connect with people more. But like I like to try to identify what people's coping mechanisms are. Let's say, for example, for a lot of people, they might isolate. So for them, they need to lean more into getting out there more. But then other people, their coping mechanism is always staying busy, always surrounded. They need to lean into being with themselves more. So it's personalised, the work that I do.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, I agree. Different seasons of life.
Well, thank you heaps. I feel like there was a lot of gems in there and a lot of sort of probably would have woken up some things in some people as well, and plenty of good sort of tangible advice as well. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing that. You got any parting words, Guy?
I was wondering if you had any questions that some of the guys that are listening that they can ask their partners, that are just like spark a bit of, or just, something that would bring a bit more connection into their relationships or anything like that. Have you got any sort of leeway sort of questions like that are to partner our audience with, that is like,
Great question, bro.
yeah,
That's a good one.
hey, try these out just to spark a bit more
Yeah.
intimacy, or spark a bit
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, that's really beautiful,
Yeah, I've got a few.
Oh,
So
cool.
number one is just a monthly relationship check-in. Do
Mhm.
you guys do anything like that, where you might plan a day where you get out of the house, so somewhere in an environment that isn't the usual environment or has the same energy of, you have fights, you make love in certain places, so just a sort of neutral ground where you come together and you get to discuss things in an open space, and even having a little item that when one person's holding the item, they're speaking, the other person isn't speaking, right? This can be good, especially if you have a tendency to interrupt one another. And not just bad things, good things too, like looking at finances, or what are our goals, when are we planning our next trip. But then the other side, has there been anything that you feel has been unsaid that you want to talk about, and I'll listen. And you set the frame as a leader, as a man, the frame and the rules of this relationship check-in. Like, there's no interrupting. We're not here to prove that we're right. We're here to just listen. Simple rules that you can follow and go over before you start the relationship check-in. I think that is like, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
Right? You have the relationship check-in, might save you a year of couples counselling and therapy.
Dead set.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's going to love that too, man. Like, what leadership and initiative.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
fun
He's
too.
investing.
Bring some games, have a picnic,
Yeah.
But balance it. Do have the hard conversations. But the hard conversations can be easy if you have the right frameworks. And then you have some fun too. That would be my suggestion. A monthly relationship check-in.
I think
It's not
that's so
hard.
good. I know Jag was doing them weekly every Sunday. I'm like, geez, that's pretty extensive. So, but I think monthly would be nice, because then you can make it a nice date thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go
Monthly
out.
check-in day.
Yeah, picnic, like as you say, on a Sunday or whatever it is. I think that's a
Get out
great
the
idea.
notebook.
Yeah, that's right. That's interesting. And what you said as well about, is there something that you can see, or what was that question you said? Is this?
Unsaid?
Yeah,
That's
what's
been
unsaid? Yeah, is there anything that's been
been
unsaid that this is the opportunity to bring that up?
Yeah.
I think that's so cool, because it is like that. You don't want to, like, there's always times in relationship where things are going really good, so you don't want to like bring things down, or things are really shit, so you don't want to make them worse. So it's like there's never the right time. So to create the space for the right time where that stuff can come up.
Yeah. So unsaid conversations. Is there anything you need more from me, or would want more from me? What else do you think you guys would ask on a relationship check-in? That's maybe the more uncomfortable types of conversations.
Yeah. Like, pretty much what you're saying. Like, is there anything you're left unsaid? Is there anything you're seeing that I'm doing that's annoying or affecting you, or sabotaging myself? Like, maybe because they're a good mirror.
That's a good one, eh?
Yeah, like sort of just a bit of reflection back on them, even, it could be personally, not even within the relationship. But yeah, I guess asking those deeper, and I think that's great as well, because it's gonna, like, things left unsaid, like that would be stopping the connection as well, if there's things being left unsaid. And then after that check-in, things are a lot closer. Like, I haven't had like ritualistic check-ins, but naturally they've kind of, like, a check-in process has kind of happened, like, how you going and all that stuff, and sort of really diving deeper, and after it always the connection's stronger. So it's a great thing, I think.
Yeah, I'm even just thinking now, speaking on this, like, it doesn't need to just be with your intimate partner. It can be extended into like your relationships at work, you know what I mean?
I love that.
So that's something that we could implement more around here as well.
I'm going to do that with my parents. Good suggestion.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, well, that probably wraps up and concludes an awesome podcast. Thanks very much for coming, and I'm glad that viewers, the listeners, can receive that little bit of advice to take into their relationship for this coming week.
Yeah. And I'll give you guys a plug. If you're in Gold Coast, be sure to check these boys out at Brotherhood. It's an awesome gym, great community. You'll grow, you'll evolve, and you'll meet many like-minded men and individuals.
Awesome. Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I'm a part of it, so I can
vouch
attest to
firsthand.
it. Yeah.
Nice.
Have a great rest of your week, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one. Ciao.
Yes.